told my friends I was going to be covering holiday films throughout the months of November and December, they immediately told me The Grinch, A Christmas Story, The Santa Claus. And I told them, for November, I'm not doing those kinds of movies. I'm doing smaller, the way I worded it was light holiday films. In December will be heavy holiday films. They didn't know what I meant. I knew what I meant. I just didn't know how to phrase it. I just phrased it. I didn't know any examples to give. So when I told them my first one was Frozen, they were confused. And tonight when I told them I was going to cover Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, they were even more confused. Like, those aren't holiday films. Okay, Frozen I get not being considered a holiday film. It literally takes place during the summer. But Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a holiday film. The whole point of the movie is they're trying to get home for Thanksgiving. I guess when people think holidays, they think Christmas. I mean, this is the holiday season. Holiday season. Not Christmas season, though I'm sure some people do call it that. There's a lot of holidays. That's why I've been saying holiday films, because they won't specifically relate to Christmas, and they won't even necessarily be holiday films like Frozen, which I admit that was a stretch. I wanted to cover Frozen, and it feels like a holiday film, even though it takes place in the summer. It's just because of all the snow. Yeah. Anyway, enough justifying the reason for covering that one and this one. Even though, again, this one has more of a reason to being classified a holiday film, because it literally takes place on a holiday. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It came out in 1987 and was written, directed, and produced by John Hughes. And honestly, I'm surprised it's taken me this long to do a John Hughes film, because I like all his movies that I've seen, because I admit I haven't seen all his movies. This was honestly the first time I've seen this. I've been wanting to see this movie because I know it's considered a classic. I just haven't gotten to it, and it was an excuse to see. I saw it on a list of holiday films, and that was my excuse. Like, nope, that's it. I'm doing that one. Anyway, it was also starring Steve Martin and John Candy. And these two comedians together, classic. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I know it's considered a comedy classic. And I know them too. So I kind of had an idea what to expect. I just wasn't entirely sure. It was pretty much what I was expecting, but that's not a bad thing. I wasn't really surprised too much, because, yeah, it has kind of been spoofed in other movies, like especially in Family Guy. Family Guy spoofed it at one point. So, like, I knew the general premise, and I knew some of the gags. I like seeing them in the proper order, like in the right context. It's like, now I can say I've seen it. So, yeah, I wasn't really expecting the end. It wasn't like an unexpected ending. I kind of saw it. I will give spoilers for this because it's a classic. Just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean no one else has. I know it's considered a classic, like I said, so I will give spoilers. The way John Candy's character, Del Griffin, I think Griffith, I think his name was, the way he was talking about his wife, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if she's dead. I wasn't thinking they were going to reveal it. I'm just thinking maybe it's like my headcanon, the way he's talking about her. I had a feeling she was dead. So I'm like, I wonder if there's like some kind of fan theory that she's actually dead. But then it gets to the end and he's like, my wife's been dead for 8 years. It's like, oh. So, like, while I wasn't surprised about that, I'm surprised they actually covered it. And then, so basically, like, the last 5 minutes of the movie was, like, not emotional, just kind of serious. It like randomly became serious. Like, yeah, it had kind of like a farewell between the two characters, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, that was a pretty good send off. But I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking like, how are they ever going to reconnect? But that's probably Steve Martin's character's goal. Is like, okay, I appreciate the guy getting me home, but I never want to see this guy again. So it's like that's why he didn't give his address. So that's one way to end the film. I don't know. I liked it. I don't want to say anything. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It was, everyone says, "Oh, it is what it is." Well, this is what it is. Like I said, I wasn't. It is what you get. It's what you go in for. It's funny. I think my favorite part, actually is when the car caught fire, because it was. Because it kind of shows like they've been through a lot. I think like anyone else, like if this had happened like at the beginning of the journey, or if this had happened to anyone else or something, like they turned to see the car on fire, they probably would have freaked out. But they turned, saw the car on fire, and turned back and started laughing. And it's just like, yeah, what else can happen? Steve Martin's character even goes like, "It happened to you this time." Yeah. It's kind of hard to talk about this movie because, like, again, like I don't have a whole lot of nostalgia for it. Like there's a bunch of other John Hughes films that I've seen a lot as a kid. A lot of like movies that came out around then, a lot of 80s films that are like hugely nostalgic. I don't know if hugely is actually a word, but there's a lot of 80s films that are big nostalgic films for me, and I could go on and on and on and on. But with this one, like this is my first time seeing it. I know what others have said about it, but I don't want to just repeat what others have said. So maybe not the best movie to review. Like this is why I stopped going to the theater, watching a movie, and then reviewing it. I stopped covering movies I saw at the theater because it's hard to talk about something I have just seen for the first time. Yeah. So I think for the rest of the holiday films, it'll be more ones that I have seen and not just ones that I saw on a list on IMDb. Although I did use that list to come up with some more. Like I have some ideas for other movies to cover, because there's movies on there that I didn't realize were holiday films. Like I didn't know this one was a holiday film. Again, I'd never seen it, so there's that. But I didn't know it was a holiday film. I remember from like the clips I've seen, there's snow, but that didn't necessarily mean holiday film. Like Fargo has a bunch of snow in it. That doesn't mean it's a holiday film. But yeah, I guess, like I said, like I don't have a whole lot to say about this. It's an enjoyable film. If you haven't seen it, just watch it. There's really not. It's a funny movie. You will enjoy it, but it's not anything that's going to like change your life. It's like, oh, I have a whole new perspective on whatever. But it is a fun movie just to say, just watch it to say you've seen it. Like that's, if I had known it was streaming, I probably would have like knocked it out one day. Like I'm like, oh yeah, it's streaming. I'm gonna watch it on a bored day when there's nothing to do. But yeah, I use this episode as an excuse to watch it. So yeah. If I stop this now, would this be the shortest episode I've ever done? Actually, I think, yeah, it is probably the shortest episode I've done. I really don't have much to say about this. This is not how you do. Okay, now that I think about it, my friend was right, and I've talked about this in a previous episode. This isn't a movie review podcast. This is a movie podcast. I'm starting to see the difference. I'm not reviewing crap. I'm not reviewing Planes, Trains, and Automobile. This isn't even close to Groundhog Day. I mean, technically that's another holiday film, but, wrong holiday. Anyway, I think I'll end the episode here. Before I go, I will say that the film is currently streaming on Paramount Plus. That is where I watched it. And yeah,